I am going out with someone I have known for years. I have a stable job and he is an entrepreneur, having started 5 months ago. He makes me feel happy and safe, and to be honest, I don't care if we are in a five-star hotel or sitting on a bench in the park because what matters to me is being with him. However, he constantly apologizes for not being able to contribute more financially. I reassure him that I don't mind paying sometimes, and I have done so, but he seems to struggle with that. How can I help him feel okay about not being able to pay this time, or that I can handle it? I assume that only time will show him that what I truly care about is being together, not who is paying for what. Story 1. So this is challenging for many reasons. I have been with two women who earned significantly more than I did. With one woman, it was never an issue. The second experience was quite different. She told me it was not a problem, but I could sense that it was. That made me avoid all relationships where I didn't earn more. My partner at the time made it so uncomfortable for me that I never want to consider it again. Also, there is pride, foolish pride. Men have been conditioned for many years to believe that they must provide. I have 3 daughters, and I am raising them to be completely independent. Story 2. I understand what you mean. I was in a similar position. The reassurance is really valuable. In my situation, I was still in school, so I was working part-time. When we went out, she would sometimes say, "Hey, you got us this. Let me get this for us." The wording is important because it illustrates that you two are, in fact, a team. She would also ask me about my goals, how I'm progressing, and how she can help or what needs to be done to keep me focused. If you're able to show support on all sides, it becomes less about money and more about you both as a couple succeeding. This approach is less condescending, easier on the ego, and holds everyone accountable. Story 3. You just have to keep reassuring him. Look through the threads on this subreddit, and you will find many comments from men telling other men that if they aren't wealthy, they shouldn't even try to date because it's pointless. There's also the fact that society still pressures men into being the breadwinner and providing for their family, which has been the case for longer than anyone in this thread has been alive. It's not something you can tell him a few times, and he will actually believe it, as his whole life he has been told the exact opposite. Story 4. This world has convinced men that those who cannot earn are worthless. Those who earn less are deemed lesser. Those who cannot provide are considered functionally dead and unworthy of association. You will need to instill the opposite belief, countering the deep ontological framework that the world has established. Best of luck to both of you. Story 5. Going on affordable dates is acceptable. He may feel insecure, so allowing him to take you to a movie, a pastry, or coffee is still a meaningful gesture. Story 6. The man has been conditioned to believe that his worth is determined solely by the money he has spent. Changing this perception may be difficult if it is also ingrained in his culture. Story 7. The answer to this is extremely complex and boils down to human evolution, societal conditioning, and gender bias. My wife earns significantly more than I do. This wasn't always the case, as I used to earn about double what she did. When our roles reversed, she began to hear whispers from people close to her that I was no longer good enough or worthy of her because she out-earned me. This led us to nearly get divorced since she started viewing my value solely in terms of money. As a society, we are often trained to think this way. We are still together, and a lot has changed and improved in our relationship since then, but I constantly feel the pressure of not providing for her anymore. It's a debilitating feeling, even though I'm working towards making my business successful enough for us to retire. Right now, I'm still in the startup stage, so all external people see is the lack of income. It's frustrating. And while you can reassure someone, it's also essential to reflect on yourself and ask, will this ever become an issue for me someday? It's easy to say no, but the reality is that often the answer will be yes. Story 8. In my opinion, 2 important things to consider. 1. Treat the $1 date the same way as the $100 date. I mean to engage with the same enthusiasm, energy, and excitement. The one consistent factor between the dates is him, so demonstrate your genuine response to him, irrespective of the activity. Plan a more affordable date around something you enjoy. Share with him some of your favorites that don't cost much but bring you joy and you want to share with him. It will take time. Keep reassuring him, but remember that actions speak louder than words. Good luck. Story 9. Tell him directly. If I were him, I would appreciate a message like, I genuinely don't care about the money situation. We are growing together, and I know you will be back to making money eventually. I truly do not care. I only care about us. Something along those lines. Also, occasional reassurance that you don't care can be helpful. Story 10. There may be a miscommunication here. It's not so much about feeling inadequate due to finances. Rather, we love to spoil our partners, and sometimes our desire to do so exceeds our financial means. More than anything, he likely sees you as being much better than he thinks he deserves and is using money as a crutch to close the gap. I can't recommend a specific approach since that depends on the person, but he needs to be assured that you feel the way you expressed and that you are choosing him. Story 11. Take a screenshot of this post and send it to him. If he asks why you chose an indirect way to say it in the third person, explain that a user named Broadpoint thought it was best. Story 12. Hey, you know that you make me feel happy and safe, right? I want you to know it's okay if you can't afford things sometimes. I believe you will be successful soon, and those things can come later. I enjoy spending time together doing activities that don't cost much. It's about being with you. Story 13. I don't care if you have money and can't pay for things. I care about being with you. Don't mess that up and we're good. I believe men respond better to straightforward reassurance regarding their insecurities. Story 14. I am a woman, and I want to be honest. Why not just tell him you don't care about the money? It's about spending time with him. Mention that you feel secure and comfortable around him, and that you recognize his potential. Also, let him know that you can plan fancy outings later. I would prefer to sit on the beach with a 12-pack of drinks and snacks, talking about why Rome fell, rather than dining in a fancy restaurant. Story 15. You could start going on other types of dates that don't involve money or are less expensive. Consider going for a walk in the park, having a homemade meal, or enjoying a movie night at home. Story 16. You need to have a candid conversation with him. Call it as you see it and address it. I've noticed that when we go on dates, the times I pay seem to stress you out, as if you feel you need to be the provider. Am I close, or am I mistaken? If yes, regardless of how you view it, don't worry. If I held the same beliefs, I wouldn't have offered. That mindset is completely toxic and not the kind of relationship I want with you. I don't want to worry about who pays for what. All I care about is being with you. I know you want to be the provider, but right now is not the time for that, and that's okay. We're a team. Teams share responsibility. If no, let him know he has nothing to apologize for. There are no expectations, and he is absolved of any guilt because you offered. He didn't ask, you offered. If he had asked you to pay, that would be a very different story. But it sounds like that's not the case. Good luck. Story 17. What a peach. I would try telling him something like this. I have known you for a long time and I am invested in your success because seeing you happy and thriving makes me feel happy too. Please stop worrying about me because I don't need you to invest money in me for this relationship to work. It would be much better if you invested that worry and that money into your business. If paying for things is important to you, why don't we make a deal? Let me pay now, and later when it's not a burden, you can pay. I would like to think we have plenty of time, and there are better ways for you to spoil me. I completely understand why you might be skeptical. I completely understand why you may not realize how lucky you are yet. But I am asking you to let me prove to you that these are my values, that I walk the walk and stand behind my principles. I insist on being an asset that helps you thrive because that will help us thrive, which will help me thrive. Our relationship is valuable to me, and I refuse to let you turn something I value into a burden. There is no need for you to compromise your business for our relationship, so please do not. To put it simply, your value to me is you, not your money. Next time we are together, I want you to stop worrying about money because it distracts from what I actually want from you. Next time you apologize, it should be for not listening to me and being distracted from our time together, taking away the things I value so you can worry about things I don't. Then, after a while, when your actions remove all room for doubt, remind him not to waste too much money on the engagement ring. His fears and mindset are informed by a lifetime of lived and observed experience, so it's likely it will take time to sink in. After you tell him, the next time he pulls out his wallet, ask to see it and insert a note that says read before spending on one side and a reminder on the opposite side. But here is the most important part. Make sure you really mean it and actually want to abide by these principles. I hate to say it, but nearly all boyfriends have experienced a girlfriend talking about lofty ideals and then doing the opposite. For example, I want you to be open and vulnerable. It's okay to show emotions and even cry. Or you should have just walked away. It's not worth fighting or arguing with someone who, story 18, tell him everything you just told us verbatim. I had a girlfriend who would always say she doesn't mind paying, which makes it sound like she's thinking, if I have to pay, I will. As men, we mentally feel like we are required to cover costs unless we are told otherwise. Story 19. How about you say that it makes you feel good to pay? It isn't about one person taking on the role of provider, but a couple working together to do what they can at the moment so they can both enjoy things together. Story 20. I'm really fond of you, and I truly do not care who is paying for our time together. But you better mean it, because if you ever go back on this and argue with him about money, your relationship is absolutely over. Story 21. I'm a woman, so I shouldn't be answering, but just tell him he'll get there one day. Be reassuring until then, and if you also encourage him, that will help boost his confidence. Story 22. My favorite dates with my husband were the free ones, like visiting a local historic train station, watching the meteor shower, or enjoying a homemade picnic. Make plans for these special but affordable dates, and he might feel special too. Keep encouraging and reassuring him. Feeling safe and seen with someone is the best thing, and it's more than any expensive date can offer. Story 23. Like others have said, this is a tough issue as individuals may have all kinds of insecurities. In my observation, many entrepreneurs who are highly motivated may have the biggest challenges. A couple of suggestions. I'm here to share the journey with you, not just the destination. As a man, it is important to me to give my partner what truly makes her happy. If nothing is explicitly stated, expensive dates might occur by chance. One possibility is to assert what you want to do. If you genuinely want to put in the effort, just say you want him to come over at a certain time and cook for him. Depending on the stage of your relationship, you might enjoy relaxing at home doing various things privately, or you may prefer more introverted activities. Netflix and chill with you is always a delightful date to me. Let's just grab a snack and take a walk together. By the way, you sound like a very sweet, mature, and wonderful partner. Story 24. He knows you are going to leave him someday because he does not have money, so he is trying to soften the blow by talking about it constantly. Story 25. You are a wonderful treasure. Just reading this made me feel warm and hopeful inside. I hope I can find someone like you one day. Story 26. Tell him directly. You are fighting against a lot of socialization that tells men their value in relationships and life is measured by money. He worries about being enough for you. Make it clear what that means to you. You may have to say it a few times. Story 27. Be frugal around him. Tell him clearly no when you can tell he is trying to overspend on you. I dated a girl who refused a gift because she could tell it was too expensive, even though I had to stretch to afford it for her. That made me cry. Story 28. Even if it is not a problem for you right now, thanks to the honeymoon phase, it will become a problem later. It always does. You only think about the moment, he thinks about the future as well. Story 29. It's just a thing we have. I've been married for 15 years. For some anniversaries, we went to a 5-star restaurant and enjoyed $500 meals and drinks. For other anniversaries, we spent time binging Game of Thrones. I feel bad when I can't do the special things. Story 30. In reality, this is more of a fee for him. Just keep telling him it's not very important to you and accept that you have limited influence over others. Story 31. You are enough is a good affirmation, but you are working against a lifetime of conditioning. Takes time. Story 32. Let him know that you are partners and are trying to create the life you want together. Right now, he is investing heavily in the future, and you are happy to help share the short-term costs. As long as he is putting in the effort on the dates, the price tags do not matter. Presence is more important than presence. Story 33. It may help to frame it as you investing in his startup career. You are proud of the hard work he is doing and the risks he is taking, so you want to pay these small expenses as a way to support his ambitious goals. You are saving him some money to put towards his work, much like how you might start preparing his lunches to help save for a big purchase. Make it seem less like charity, where you take on something that is his responsibility, and more like you are supporting him and the relationship in a new way, where you have his back to help him move forward. Story 34. I was in a situation where, when I met my wife, she was earning 3 times my salary. She genuinely lowered her standard of living to match mine and never insisted on upgrading or contributing financially. Story 35. Be assertive but firm when discussing the matter. When you pay for something and the other person asks if it's okay with you, politely confirm that it is acceptable and remind them that you have previously discussed this. Story 36. Money cannot buy love, and that is what we have. Do not let these precious moments slip away or be haunted by the conditioning of what you think you must be to be loved. There are many wealthy individuals, but only one of you. Story 37. A person's experience is usually that it is not a problem until it happens, and then it becomes a problem that will be used against them for years. That's why they behave that way. Do not bring words. Bring actions and their results. Story 38. Just tell him. It will surely be a relief for him. Most men believe that a woman cannot love them. She can only love what they can provide, not them as individuals. If you can convince him that you genuinely like him, the person, he will melt. Most men assume they will never experience a woman who loves them as anything more than a tool. Story 39. God, if I didn't know any better, this is me. Because of the high cost of living and having a child, I can't provide my fiancée with the same experiences we had when we started dating. Inflation has outpaced my wage increases, with rent jumping 50% in 2 years among other factors. I always feel awful that I can't help her pursue her dreams. Story 40. Just tell him you're taking him out, your treat. Or better yet, tell him he can make it up to you, accompanied by a playful smile. In my freshman year of college, I had just met my soon-to-be girlfriend. While we were studying, I thought she was attractive. She said, "I'm really hungry. Let's go grab something to eat." I told her I would love to take her out but didn't have any money. She replied that it was fine. She would take me out. It was nice, definitely a change, but it didn't make me uncomfortable because she made it feel so casual. However, it's mainly a pride thing. We often feel it's our responsibility to be the provider. While this may be nice these days, it's not necessary. My wife earned more than I did for quite some time, and I didn't mind. I'm not any less of a person for that. Story 41. Just sit down with him and talk it out because he won't initiate the conversation. Tell him exactly how you feel and not to worry. Story 42. Please let me know if you agree or disagree. I am a woman and I dated someone similar before. He was very insecure about money and took it out on me. He overspent and tried to appease me with material things. He became upset when I didn't want him to spend excessively on things that would set him back financially, as I just wanted love and his time. It didn't work out in the end. Please pay attention to his behavior, and if this continues, I suggest ending it. Sometimes men like this prefer a woman they can impress with less and are so insecure that they believe a woman who has more is lying when she says she doesn't need money as a means of love. Story 43. Give him time to understand the nature and compatibility of your relationship. Sometimes, men may feel that any slight mistake is their fault. Even when things are perfect, they may feel it is not perfect enough. It can resemble a diluted form of imposter syndrome, accompanied by a crippling sense of guilt. We want to provide our special someone with the best and feel overwhelming guilt when we fall short. When you say, "It's okay," we may perceive that you are settling for something less than perfect, which adds to our guilt. Story 44. You are a rare find. My advice is to be clever. For example, if he suggests going to the beach for a couple of days this weekend, instead you could say, Let's just stay home and maybe go for a walk in the park and have a board game night. This approach will relieve him of the pressure of spending money if he thinks you are not interested in the beach trip. Story 45. My husband can really struggle with this. He's currently out of work due to injuries and post-traumatic stress disorder from his last relationship. He'll likely be out of work for a while, and to be honest, I hope he has the time to heal and recover from what's happened to him. Reminding him of his value as a person, a father, a man, and a partner, which is not tied to a salary or monetary compensation, is important to me. He is my greatest asset exactly as he is. I'd be half the woman I am without him, and we are constantly growing and evolving as individuals and partners. Men are often led to believe that their value to society and their families is tied to their careers. It hurts to see how persuasive and insidious this narrative is for both men and women. You are good people. You deserve love, respect, and support no matter what you earn. Story 46. Tell him directly that if you did not want to be with him, you would not be. Then tell him to stop apologizing for it. You don't need more material possessions. You are not that kind of person. Best of luck. Story 47. Instead of reassuring him that it's okay he can't pay, just use your card by default half the time. Story 48. Reassure him. I don't know how you can do that, but please find a way. I didn't have a job when I met my ex, and all he felt he had going for him was his good job. After we split, he lost that job and has been struggling since. I can tell it's a struggle. In fact, I stopped hearing from him completely, and I know that's why. I'm working now and doing okay, and he doesn't know how to deal with it. He's always felt inadequate with me, and I did everything I could to reassure him, but it wasn't until after we split that I realized just how much of an issue it was. Story 49. I would have a conversation with him. If he feels he should be providing for his partner, that could be an issue he needs to work through. However, if he thinks you want him to do that, it could mean the world to hear it. We men often feel a lot of pressure regarding our value based on what we can provide. It can be exhausting. Wishing you all the best. Story 50. Just hang in there and hope he achieves success with the entrepreneurs. Of course, then he may think he is too good for you. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.